Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the energy around you? Constantly trying to please others but feeling like it's never enough? What if the solution isn't out there, but within moments of solitude? Sometimes, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means finding peace and clarity that only come from within. Today, we'll explore how solitude can be the key to breaking free from toxic relationships, reclaiming your emotional strength, and discovering who is truly by your side. Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Fernando, and here we talk about self-awareness and personal growth. I'd like to invite you to join this amazing community where we prioritize the most important connection of all, the one you have with yourself. Comment below, I choose my inner peace, and embark on this transformative journey with us. Being alone is something many people avoid, but have you ever wondered why? For many, solitude is synonymous with emptiness or failure. However, it can be exactly the opposite, an opportunity to recharge your energy, reassess your priorities, and create a life that truly makes sense to you. We live in a world where being surrounded by people is often seen as a sign of success, but that doesn't always mean happiness. Many times we find ourselves in toxic or superficial relationships, staying in them out of fear of facing solitude. These connections, which should strengthen us, end up draining our emotional energy, leaving us exhausted and disconnected from ourselves. Take a moment to reflect. How often have you kept a friend who made dismissive comments about your dreams, called your ideas crazy, or simply didn't believe in your potential? Maybe, instead of walking away, you chose to stay in that cycle out of fear of being alone. But the truth is, as long as we keep watering dead plants, investing in relationships that don't serve us, we neglect the garden of our own soul. Solitude is the perfect opportunity to pause. When you choose to step back, even for a short while, you can finally see clearly who is truly there for you. You'll discover who genuinely cares and who is only around out of convenience. Moreover, solitude doesn't have to be scary. It can be a moment of self-discovery. Maybe it's your chance to try something new, like a hobby or skill you've always wanted to develop. It's a space where you can listen to yourself, free from the external voices that so often drown out our deepest desires. Many people fear being alone because they think it signifies failure, but intentional solitude is an act of courage. It teaches us to take care of ourselves, trust our intuition, and, most importantly, understand that our happiness doesn't depend on anyone else but ourselves. I'm not saying you should cut all ties or live in isolation forever. The idea is to take time for yourself, to connect with your thoughts and emotions. It's in those moments that you begin to see who truly deserves your time, your energy, and your heart. In the end, the people who truly matter, those who support, inspire, and accept you for who you are, will remain by your side, no matter how much space you need. Being alone often teaches one of the most important lessons we can learn, identifying what truly strengthens us and what weakens us. In the noise of daily interactions, it's hard to recognize how certain people, situations, or even habits drain our energy. Solitude, however, allows us to analyze these things with clarity. One crucial aspect to consider is transactional relationships, those connections based on exchange, where interest outweighs affection. Have you noticed how some people only reach out when they need something? They approach you with a smile, but as soon as their demands are met, they disappear. These relationships not only drain your energy, but can also diminish your self-worth, making you feel valued only for what you provide, not for who you are. Another significant aspect is disguised toxic relationships. These often come in the form of jokes that hurt, constant criticism, or a false sense of support that ultimately limits your growth. Maybe you have a friend or relative who always undermines your plans. "Oh, you'll never achieve that," or "Why bother trying something like that?" Instead of encouraging you, these people project their own insecurities, trying to keep you in the same place. When you choose to spend time alone, these dynamics become more evident. It's like stepping off the stage and observing the audience. You start to distinguish genuine applause from false cheers. It's as if, by stepping off the stage and observing the audience, you begin to distinguish genuine applause from false cheers. And here lies the power of solitude. It not only helps you filter out negative energy, but also strengthens your bonds with those who truly matter. Moreover, intentional solitude offers something rare in our fast-paced world: mental clarity. During these moments, you can identify patterns in your life that need to be broken. Perhaps you realize it's time to change your career, prioritize your mental health, or invest in something you've always put off. Solitude is also an opportunity to practice self-love. So often we seek validation from others, hoping they will tell us we are enough, capable, and worthy of love. However, when you learn to feel content on your own, you discover that you can provide all of this for yourself. You become your own source of comfort, strength, and inspiration. What's most fascinating is that by building this relationship with yourself, you naturally attract people who resonate with the same frequency. After all, someone at peace with themselves has less tolerance for negative relationships and more space for genuine connections. A practical exercise to help in this process is to actively analyze your relationships. Try stepping back for a while and observe who makes an effort to stay connected. This pause doesn't need to be permanent, but it can bring valuable insights. Sometimes you may discover that certain people genuinely care about you, while others simply disappear. And that's okay. This process isn't about judgment, it's about creating a healthier environment for your growth. Finally, it's essential to remember that solitude is not synonymous with isolation. It is a moment of reflection, rediscovery, and empowerment. During this time, engage in activities that bring you joy. Read a book you've always wanted to, learn something new, or simply allow yourself a moment of silence to hear your own thoughts. As we delve deeper into this topic, it becomes evident that intentional solitude is more than just a pause. It is a transformative tool. Being alone allows you to look inward and often forces you to confront truths you've been avoiding. While this confrontation may be uncomfortable, it is an essential step toward growth. A crucial benefit of solitude is how it helps us redefine our emotional and energetic boundaries. Amid superficial connections or draining relationships, we can forget just how valuable our energy is. Solitude provides the time and space to establish new boundaries, identifying what we're willing to tolerate and what we need to let go of. This includes cutting ties with people who take more than they give and eliminating behaviors that sabotage our well-being. For instance, have you noticed how some people only show up when they need something? They come with demands but offer no support when you're the one in need. This happens because we often allow these patterns to take root. Choosing solitude also means choosing to say no to these imbalanced relationships, preserving your energy for people and moments that truly matter. Another powerful outcome of solitude is the discovery of your emotional self-sufficiency. When we are constantly surrounded by others, we often rely on them for happiness, validation, or love. But what if you became your own source of these feelings? Solitude teaches you to meet your emotional needs internally, reducing your dependence on external factors to feel whole. Additionally, solitude reconnects you with your intuition. Amid the chaos of daily life, external voices, friends, family, social media, frequently drown out our inner voice. Being alone provides the silence necessary to hear what you truly want and need. This process not only strengthens your relationship with yourself, but also enhances your ability to make decisions aligned with your values and dreams. There's also a more subtle benefit. Solitude helps you identify thought and behavior patterns that need to change. Perhaps you'll realize you have a habit of putting yourself last or frequently trying to please others at your own expense. This self-awareness is the first step toward creating a more balanced and fulfilling life. It's important to acknowledge that not all moments of solitude will feel comfortable. Sometimes you may feel restless or even sad. These emotions are part of the healing and growth process. Just like a garden needs consistent care to flourish, your inner self requires patience and attention to transform. Just as a garden needs consistent care to bloom, your inner self also requires patience and attention to transform. Finally, one of the greatest benefits of solitude is the opportunity to create and cultivate genuine connections. When you value yourself and set clear boundaries, you naturally begin to attract people who respect your essence. These connections are not based on interests or exchanges, but on a mutual desire to share moments, ideas, and growth. Solitude, far from being a sign of weakness, is actually one of the greatest acts of courage you can practice. It shows that you are willing to face your shadows, redefine your priorities, and pursue a life truly aligned with who you are. We've now reached the point of tying together all the reflections and insights we've shared so far. Solitude, so often avoided, is not a burden. It's a chance for liberation. It provides the necessary space to reassess what surrounds us, who we are, and how we want to move forward. By choosing moments of solitude, you're not just distancing yourself from what hurts you, but also opening doors to a new chapter of self-discovery. This journey might be uncomfortable at first, but it is in these quiet moments that we find our deepest answers. Recap of the key points discussed. Solitude is not loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It's a time for connecting with yourself and strengthening your inner world. Transactional relationships. Many connections are interest-based, and solitude helps us identify them and set clear boundaries. Self-love. Solitude teaches us that we can fulfill ourselves emotionally, reducing dependence on external validation. Reconnecting with intuition. In silence, we hear our inner voice and make decisions aligned with our values. Opportunity for growth. Embracing solitude means confronting our shadows and transforming patterns that no longer serve us. If there's one central message from this topic, it's that intentional solitude is an act of self-care. It frees us from draining cycles and gives us the power to recreate the life we desire. The practical impact on your life. Imagine a life where every connection feels genuine, every step is taken with confidence, and each day is lived with a clear understanding of who you are and what you want. This is the transformation solitude can bring. It strengthens your self-reliance, improves your mental and emotional well-being, and allows you to attract people and opportunities that align with your essence. Remember, solitude is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. It's the moment when you stop watering dead plants and start cultivating a garden that flourishes with authenticity, peace, and purpose. Throughout this video, we've explored how being alone can be one of the most transformative decisions you'll ever make. Solitude is not a punishment, but an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, grow stronger, and most importantly, free yourself from cycles and relationships that don't serve you. Remember, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means being at peace with yourself. Inspirational message. You are your greatest companion. You always have been and you always will be. When you choose to embrace solitude, you are choosing to prioritize your emotional health, your peace, and your essence. And that is one of the greatest acts of self-love anyone can offer themselves. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've already taken the first step toward a more conscious and authentic life. Comment below, "I choose my peace and my strength," to show your commitment to this transformation, and don't stop here. I recommend checking out these 2 videos to complement what we've learned today: how to set emotional boundaries and break free from toxic relationships. 5 simple habits to strengthen your mental health. Thank you so much for joining me until the end. You are amazing for prioritizing your personal growth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and embrace your inner strength.